Guitar Lessons. I'm instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video we're going to be talking about how to improve our guitar playing like we're always doing. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for future notifications, like the video, and check out today's lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on 5 ways to improve your improvising on guitar solos. So the very first thing that we want to make sure that we know is all our notes on the 6 strings throughout the fretboard. All of these notes, every single one, from the 1st fret all the way to the 12th. And I say the 12th because it repeats after that, and that's one of the reasons why you have 2 dots on this fret, is because that's like the end of the scale. There's 12 notes in the musical scale, that's the end of the scale, and then it starts all over again, okay? So, you gotta know all the notes on every fret, on every string, okay? Very, very important. That's the first thing you need to know, okay? The second thing we need to know, number 2, is know exactly where all your keys are located, okay? You can find this off your 6th string. Like, for instance, if we're playing the key of A, that's at our 5th fret. If we're playing in A minor, we know we can play our A minor pentatonic right here. Or if we're playing in the key of C major, we could play, C major pentatonic right here. So we could actually use that same pattern for either a minor or a major. And since they're relative, which I've talked about many times before, that works. Those notes work, okay? If we're in the key of G, we want to play right here at the 3rd fret, G minor. If somebody says, hey, I've got a song that's in the key of D, D minor. Usually rock and roll is in minor keys. So, the D, if you know your D, it's right here at the 10th fret, sorry. Or you can play an F major right here at the 13th fret. And there's F to F right there, okay? If you're playing in the key of B, right here at the 7th fret, B flat would be right here at the 6th fret. Or you can play in C sharp major right here at the 9th fret. Okay, know where those patterns are. Know where that first one is, and then you should be able to find the other 4 patterns on top of that. After, with that, no matter what key you're in, because they're always in the same order. That's what's great about them. They don't change order. As long as you remember the order in one key, you should be able to move that to a different key, transpose that into a different key. Okay. Number 3, know your pentatonic major scales to the point you can visualize them on the fretboard, okay? So if we know that number 1 is here at the 5th fret and say a key of A minor, 5 and A, we know the second one's going to be here at 8 and 10, third one's going to be 10 and 12, fourth one's going to be 12 and 15, and like I said, know your intervals because each one has a different interval. And then our 5th one is going to be right here at 15, 17. Let's say we're playing in the key of, G flat, for instance, or F sharp. Okay, so then our first pattern would be at the 2 and the 5, then 5 and 7, 7 and 9, 9 and 12 for the 4th pattern. See, that's in the key of F sharp. You can tell right there, G flat, and it goes all the way up here, okay? So know those patterns, know those intervals, and be able to move them around into different keys, okay? And number 4, know how to execute all your personality techniques, your hammer-ons, your pull-offs, your bends, your slides, your vibrato, because that's what I've talked about many times. That's what brings the scale to life, is those techniques. Hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, bends, your trills. if you know your intervals, like we talked about many times, you can move between the patterns. If you know how to tremolo pick, you can play quick notes fast. You learn some of the other techniques I taught you, some hammer-ons. Your harmony notes. You know, all that stuff is what's going to really make you be able to improvise, help you to improvise some really cool solos, okay? And then number 5, know how to play the guitar riffs against the progressions and all the keys, okay? So if you're playing, you know, you want to make sure to know how to play those progressions. You're playing, let's see, in A minor. I showed you this in the lesson, I think it was like lesson 2 or something like that. And know where that changes with the chord progression. And that works really well over your 12-bar blues, which I mentioned that many times. That's a great place to start playing lead guitar and learning how to improvise, because what's great about the 12-bar blues is you kind of know where those chords are going before they get there. So it kind of helps you, and it's only a 3-chord progression, so that kind of gives you an idea of where to go and what you're doing. That's a great place to start. And then you can move on to other ones, okay? So work on those 5 concepts, and I guarantee you it'll help you with your lead guitar playing. Alright, so there we have it, those 5 ways to help you with your improvisation within a song. Make sure you work on that, okay? I mean, learning other people's solos is great. That creates discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to learn other people's solos, and I would highly recommend doing that, because that's a good way of learning how solos are constructed, okay? And then what you do is you also learn the second part, which is learning how to improvise your own guitar solo, okay? So if you take those five ideas that I mentioned to you in this lesson, they're going to really help you out with that, okay? You got to know your fretboard. Very, very important, and that's why we've been working on these 5 patterns, because if you know them really well and you learn those guitar licks and stuff that I presented to you and all those different things, you're going to be able to do some really cool lead guitar wizardry improvisation. All right? So thanks so much for watching. And like I said, if you need some help, I'd highly recommend getting this book, Lead Guitar Wizardry Volume 1. Shows you the basic fundamentals of how to get started playing lead guitar. And if you're past that, you say, I've got the fundamentals down, I know how to do some of that stuff, then I'd highly recommend you get Volume 2, which takes us more into advanced techniques like the modes and some melodic sequencing and parallels and a little bit more advanced music theory. All right? So once again, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. Keep working on your guitar playing. Practice every day. It's the only way you're going to get better. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I love that stuff. It's great. And keep watching for our next video and our next lesson on how to improve our lead guitar playing. You take care.